Hey everybody, welcome back to our Champ and Son series for the PGA 2K21 following Mr. Bubba Champion. Now this is going to be a little bit different format from what it has been in the previous episode. I'm not showing every round, just our final round of the tournament from this point going forward. Showing every round is pretty dang chaotic, so this seems like kind of the best option to go for. And one thing with the round that you're about to see is we play pretty rough. It's nothing too good actually happens coming up in this next round. It's kind of abysmal. Not to say it's not worth watching because it kind of is. It provides you a lot of entertainment, and I know that because my kids were laughing at me when they watched me play this round. So keep in mind, just keep an open mind going into this one and watching it. As you can tell from some of these replays, these are from the round. Things don't really go very well. In our first round, we shot 10 over par, and so we struggle quite a bit, to say the least. But it's something that happens. You play enough golf games, it's going to happen. And I really wanted to kind of just show that off. Hey, not every round is going to be perfect. We're not going to win every tournament. Bubba Champion, our hero of our channel, really, he has his struggles. You watch me struggle in Miami, now you're going to watch him struggle on the course a little bit. But we do pull off some good shots mixed in with a whole bunch of bad. And to start off on our first hole, a power swing, perfect right down the middle. Timing was a little goofy, but we do end up hitting it pretty decently, maintaining in the fairway. And you ask yourself, well, playing like this, how did he get plus 10? Well, I will tell you that when we get to the hole that really destroyed the last round for us. It's painful to even think about. And here we go with our second shot. We're trying to be smart because I know I need to get better, score a lot better to be able to make the cut. That's really my goal at this point. Not to win, not to be in contention, just make the cut, for God's sakes. That's all I need to do. And so that we're trying to play it smart. So this was the second shot. I didn't want to try to go for it. I could have hit a hard fade and looped the ball around maybe to try to get it there, but decided not to. And so I essentially laid up and come at it with the third shot. And this course with their greens, the hardest part of it all is the elevation changes. I don't think there's one green that you hit into that's not either above or way below your feet. And a lot of times on the below, it seems like, okay, I need to take less club because it's going to travel further. However, it tends to land right where it says it would instead of where it should. So I got to figure that one out, really, coming into this one. But here on the first hole, we do have ourselves a nice little birdie putt. We get a good swing on it, and just not enough. My putter was off for this whole round, and you'll see it looks like I'm starting to pull it. I'm not sure why. Some of the swings are perfectly straight, other ones I have that little pull to, but not too bad, trailing by 17 to Jordan Lambert. 17 shots back. If I can put together some good holes, make the cut, who knows? I need 3 solid days. That's what I need, is 3 days of solid golf, and that's going to be a little bit tough, but we can pull it off, okay? And with our first drive here on the second hole, get a good beastly one, but look at that. It just rolls into the rough. It seems like even when we do good, we can't do well enough. And so our second shot now, we're looking at about 156 yards, but it is 36 feet below our current elevation point. Now, I'm looking at where, with the being in the heavy rough, if I give it a full swing, it's got about 89% of its flight power, which actually works out pretty perfectly for us. And so we do end up getting it on the green with a shot for the birdie. 15 feet, right to left break. We're aiming it up. And we swing the putt, and we yank it just slightly to the left. And we miss that birdie opportunity. But we have a little comebacker for par, so we got that going for us. And that one was a straightforward and backswing, parring the second hole as we remain at 10 over for the tournament and even for this round. Jordan Lambert still maintaining at 7 under, keeping up the 17-stroke lead over us. And here's where things can start to go kind of haywire, and I want y'all to watch this. So I'm trying to avoid the bunker on the right, so I bring it to the left. There's not a whole lot of wind there. And I pull my driver shot. That started happening today. Now, instead of being nice to me and going into the water, it bounces off the fence. So I've got this little gangly, goofy leg thing. And I decided to put a whole bunch of, essentially, hook on it, knowing it's going to launch to the left with how I'm standing right off the ball, but I wanted it to push it out to the right. And instead, it comes off straight and bounces, and of course, here's more of my luck, rolls into the water. Now, I should be able, according to the rules, to go back from the point it went in with the pin, go back as far as I want to drop the ball. It would not let me do that. So, I decided to now completely push aim way to the right. And it comes off pretty decently. It's kind of what I was hoping the first shot would be, and I go from rough to rough, but it's something I'm willing to deal with to avoid hitting in that water like I did. So now I'm going to try to chip this bad boy in from the heavy rough for a bogey. And I just don't give it enough. I give it too little, and so that leaves me with, a 30-foot putt for the doubler, the double rooski. And that's another thing that's kind of difficult is looking at the putting speeds. Generally 1 foot in elevation translates to about 10 feet in distance. I know you think, well, if an inch translates to about a foot of distance, why not? It'd be 12. I'm not sure why that works out that way, but it generally is, 1 foot is generally about 10 feet in distance-wise. 1 foot elevation, 10 foot distance. It's kind of the smoothest way to go about it. So we end up with a triple bogey there. And this is the hole that destroyed me in the round yesterday, the fourth hole, this par 4. I did the smarter move yesterday, at least what I thought was a smarter move, and I did not take driver off the tee. I hit it into the fairway. And then on my approach shot, coming off here, I wanted to avoid hitting it to the left because it goes straight downhill. And I figured it would go downhill into a hazard. Nope. It goes downhill into really, really thick rough. And out of that bunker shot, once again, it's kind of the story of the day, not quite giving it enough. But back to yesterday, the approach shot, I hit it left, rolled down into, almost made that one, but it rolled down into the deep brush, and it took about 5 shots to get it back up. No matter what I did, what club I took, it just would never be enough. And that started the downward spiral. So coming back on this hole to end up still being able to make the par out of that, that was about as good of a performance that I could ask for. Coming off, what happened to me yesterday. So here we are now on the 5th hole, a difficult hole layout. Once again, I mean, these are par 5, so you'd think it would be easy to really go for these things in 2. 1, out of the just pure distance, no, they don't lend towards that. But 2, there's nothing ever straight on. The elevation changes, which means your angle of shot changes. And so we have to play these a little bit smarter and not always go for them. Now, after the first 2 shots, you can see I'm in the middle of the fairway. I am set up perfectly for a nice, easy approach shot. But we have a raise this time. It's now above about 10 feet elevation from where we are standing. So I follow with what's kind of been the standard so far. And I mess up that shot, but it tends to work out for me because I put a lot of backspin on it. And we get it stopped in premier position for our first birdie of the day. And I strike it and drive it home. That ball goes to his home for our first birdie of the round, and bringing us to a 12 under par. And it's not the first birdie for the tournament either. You'd think shooting 10 over the previous day would be the first birdie. No. That, my friends, was the third birdie. And so we are going to move on to the sixth, which is a long par 3 sitting at about 233 yards. And once again, that elevation is just crazy, as it is sitting 55 feet above where we are standing. And I take the 3-wood knowing I need to get some good roll out of it. And really, at a point like that, I would have been fine if it had stopped not on the green. But we do end up hitting the green, leaving us with about 40 feet to go. And so we do size this putt up. I get a good stroke on it. And it's just going to dip just below. It's like if I aim right and I pull the putt, it goes to the left. If I aim not far enough left, but I pull it to the left, that has no impact. But either way, we will 2-putt that green for a par, and 2-putt from 40 feet with that type of slope. It's not too shabby. We are remaining at tied for 149th position in this tournament at 12 over through 6 on round number 2. So here we come to the 7th hole. Bubba on the tee box. And once again, I think about taking the driver. I want to just, at this point, I'm like, I need to kind of go for it, but I still want to play smart. That's what you really got to do, is you really need to play smart to have any chance of at least playing better. So I hit the 3-wood. And lo and behold, it rolls straight into the heavy rough. Just our luck, as I would say. And their heavy rough is legit heavy rough, man. Look at that. It stops at 75 to 82%. That's harsh. And really, instead of being on that green with those slopes, I kind of prefer to be in this sand trap, giving me a little bit better of a shot at hitting on the flat surface. But you still want to be careful with that pin being so close to the edge like they have it. So I line it up, and I get not as much as solid of a swing as I would like, but it still gets me onto a fairly flat surface. Doesn't leave a whole lot of slope there, and I'm left with a 26-foot putt for par. So I get it lined up and just making minor little adjustments, and I pull it back too hard, but it's going for the cup. Boom! And it hits off the back edge, and it does drop. So from 27 feet, my putting has been saving me this round, oddly enough. I can't imagine what I'd be at if I wasn't knocking those types of putts home. So here we come now to the 8th hole, a winding par 4 that is drivable. But at the same time, I've got that big old gap there. Once again, I need to try to play this smart. If I want to have any chance of at least playing semi-decent, that's what I need to do. At some point, you gotta realize, as much as this is a video game, this is the life of Bubba. And so what would Bubba do? He would play it smart. He wouldn't go for that. And it sets us up perfectly. Once again, playing smart is working out for us. We're just not executing on the back end of it. So from 59 yards, we hit a little pitch shot, and it's going to land, and it's going to stop pretty decently within 10 feet of the pin, giving us an excellent chance at birdie. All right, so from 6 feet, not too major of a slope, slight slope, and I pull that putt, and it goes off, and so I will not be able to execute that birdie, and we will be left with a par putt, and I'll drive that one home, keeping us at 12 over for the tournament, 2 over for the 9, and we are coming through to the 9th hole, which is going to be a par 3, pretty decent length, but nothing too excessive, sitting at about 193 yards from the pin is where we're at, but it is down 14 feet in elevation, so I take a little bit less club in the 4 hybrid and go with the 5 iron, because you normally get pretty decent roll out of the 5. And it's going to land in that rough, and it's going to go, and that rough kind of stops our backspin a little bit and launches us forward coming off that hill. But I'm fine with being on this edge again with the way these greens work out. It's an okay move. And we hit that chip, and we're going to come up literally inch short from the chip-in birdie. So we do knock that par home once again, remaining at 2 over for the side and 12 over for the round. And now we see what our cut line is. Our cut line being at 2 over par means we need to have the greatest back nine that's ever been played to shoot 10 under and try to actually make this cut. And so we're going to take on that challenge. And here with the first shot at the 10th hole, we beast a drive. It's going to go well over 300 yards right down the middle of the fairway, setting us perfectly up to go for this green and 2. And this is a par 5, so if we can get an eagle, that starts us out perfectly, right on the track that we need. And I unleashed that one, but I pulled it to the left, and it's going to get stopped in that heavy rough again. And not only are they in heavy rough, but it is something that has lots of hard angles, so we got to make the adjustment for that. Ball's above our feet, we're going to aim a little bit further to the right. If it's below it, we're going to aim it further to the left. And I want to spin it off that hill. That's kind of one of the main things I was trying to do with this one. If I can get it up there, I've seen the power of the slope of these greens. Let me get it up and spin it. And normally it rolls off the hill. That time I didn't get it close enough. So we are still left with a good chance for birdie from 6 feet. Just needing to make these conversions. And we do convert. Hole number 10. We get our birdie. We are starting out on the right track for this 9. Maybe we can make a push if we, well, you know, birdie out from here. And Sergio Mendoza has taken over the lead at 10 under par. So we're only 21 back. All right, that's not horrible. I've seen worse. And so now for our first tee shot on the 11th. Once again, we're going to try to ride this side down the hill. It is a straight downhill to the hole. But if we can get a good enough bounce coming off this right side, just need it to bounce forward and slightly to the left. And it kicks straight to the left, but that does put us into the fairway. Coming up here on the 11th tee box. And we're going to have a decent approach shot now. About 140 yards. I'm going to be taking a light 9-iron, not going too heavy with it. Needing to try to pull it back and put lots of backspin on it. I need to probably look at getting some new irons because they don't put a whole lot of spin even though I try to get it to go that way. And I just overpowered that. Failure to swing properly and my fault. And the ball bounces off a hill, thankfully, and onto the green. That could have easily gone super terrible and bounced off and over the green and into the hazard. So from here, what are we going to do? I'm aiming up my putt. I only got 50 feet to go, you know. But once again, it's 1 foot in elevation, so you got to figure, all right, so that equals about 10 feet in distance, right? But this time I decided to change it up, and I go about 15 feet just to make sure for the length. And we give it a whack. And it's got a good read. It's going, and ooh, missed it just on that left edge. That is painful. Painful to see, but we do have a decent putt for par, and we drive that one home as we will remain at 11 over par for the tournament. And you can see we're now moving up the leaderboard. We are tied for 147th instead of 149th. And here we come into the 12th hole, a decent sized par 4, not too long, not too short, but very windy. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, so it's downhill. We're down. The landing spot is 62 feet below where I'm projected. So technically I should land it a lot further than that. But that's just not how the game wants to work for me today. And so I land it slightly further than that and into the thick brush. So much so my next shot is a blind one to where I can't even see my swing. And y'all can't see it either. So I give my best to just line it. Let me just heave this ball out of the rough is what I really needed to do. And we get a pretty decent shot. It puts us on the green. And we start to roll all the way off, which is okay by me because once again, gives us a chance to bring out our wedges for a pitch shot. And I'm going to put a lot of spin to get that ball to stop. That's my main goal. Load it up. And, ooh, lands right by the pin. It doesn't stop as easy as I was hoping. But still, leaves me with a pretty easy putt for par from 9 feet. And I give it a swing, and then we drop that ball into that cup for another par, remaining at 11 over for the tournament. And we're only down by 22 strokes now. Sergio Mendes extends his lead to 11 under par, exact opposite of our 11 over par. So here we are on the 13th hole, a drivable par 4. As long as we can get a good kick and maybe some wind coming with us. And we beast it. We let the big doggy as that ball will roll just shy of the green. What a perfect shot. That'll give us a good chance here for our eagle pitch to at least get close enough, if anything, to make a birdie. And so we're kind of trying to line up our aim, taking a look at it with the distance, how high we got to go, and what type of shot we're hitting. We're going with a lob wedge pitch, but I need to get the percentage right. Once again, I'm going to put a lot of pullback on it to get that effect I need for it. And we get it up onto that ledge with the pin, and that ball will stop just above the pin for us, leaving us with a good birdie opportunity from about 5 feet away. And we just lip it out again. We failed to convert, and that has been the story of our round so far. Just failing to convert on all fronts of our putting game. Our drivers are working really well. Our wedges from around the green are about as perfect as they can be. It's the putter that is really doing damage to us today. So here we come on the 14th hole. Nice little par 3. Only about 92 yards. We got a normal lob wedge. That's probably what I'm going to try to do to get some elevation and some loft to force that ball to spin a little bit. And I completely misjudged it, and I did spin it, but I spun it further away from the pin after I failed to land on the green. So now we have a nice little chip shot. I'm trying to figure out, I don't want to chip it. I don't like doing the chip like that. So let me see. This splash is kind of like a minor little flop shot, nothing too excessive for it. But it looks like all we really got to do here is the chip, as you see me working my way through the different types of shots. And so that's just kind of how we're going to have to go with it. It's not my favorite, but we're doing what we got to do. And we get a good powerful and almost bounce it into the cup, leaving us with 4 feet away for the par. And we've been playing a pretty good backside today. Just needing to maintain that. So we line it up, and we get the putt away, and we drop it the dead center of that cup. So that'll bring us to hole number 15 at 11 over par. We are 1 under for this side, for this back nine, playing it excellent. And looking at taking the 3-wood, maybe the driver. It's something we have to look at doing. I'm going to go for it at this point. And I'm not going to lie, I completely failed to see those trees that were there. I went into panic mode as soon as I hit it. So thankfully, we got over them. And we take a hard bounce into the heavy rough, which for some reason this time almost stops us dead. But we do land in the fairway. And now we have a beautiful second shot on this par 5. Only 215 yards out. This is a very sloped green, so I'm trying to avoid the left side of it as much as possible. And to be fair, in my head, that means if I got to hit it in one of that bunker just there to the right, so be it. Because you do not want the ball to land on that slope on the left. Trust me, it happened yesterday, my previous round, and I ended up having to chip the ball like 4 times because each time it would hit that slope and roll all the way off the green. And this is going to give you a taste of it. As you can see, the ball is just rolling, and it's not stopping. I landed it on the right side like I wanted. It just kicked too far to the left and couldn't remain on that little plateau. And so it rolls to a smooth, about 60 feet, 52 feet. Now, with that elevation, I would have to give almost a legit full putter swing. I don't want to do that, and there's no rule saying that I can't just pitch this thing up or really do a perfect looking splash shot. That's what I'm going for on it. Nothing says I can't do it. I need to be sure to get up onto this plateau, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my sand wedge from the surface of the green, and I'm going to give it a whack. About 95% distance. I do shorten that up, which actually works out a little bit better for me. I think if I had gone the full, it may have hit that one lip and rolled all the way back down again. But we are left now with just 11-foot putt for birdie. And not too much of a slope, but we've been misreading these all day, so I'm kind of willing to give it more of a slope than need. But it's going dead center, and it just an inch. An inch is all I needed. And it fails to convert. Oh, God, that hurts. Oh man, that pulls at your heartstrings. It really does. To be so close so many times, and yet so far away. And we remain at the bottom of the leaderboard as Sergio Mendoza extends his lead to 13 under par, while we remain at 11 over par. And so the 16th is going to be another par 3. About 160 yards away from us, so good distance. And we pull our tee shot to the left, a little too much power, and it gets just on the fringe of the green, which once again, with the slopes that these things have, I'm perfectly fine with that. And so we're going to hit a little chip shot here. We get it, and it sets us up perfectly for a par. Gets us within 2 feet, right around the cup, so there's nothing big about slope-wise, and we are able to knock that par putt home. All right. And we are still tied for 147th. Sergio Mendoza is now at 14 under par, so we're only trailing by 25 strokes. All right. Projected cut is remaining at 2 over, so even if we hole in one these next 2 holes, we're not going to make it. So at this point, I do kind of start to figure, you know what the hell? I'm going to give it all I can with this, and I put a lot of fade on it so I can try to get the bounce to work out for me. And you can see I got the fade, and it was looking so good, but I didn't think about that bunker, and I, boom, nailed it. Right into the bunker. If I just put a little less fade, I probably could have gotten over that bunker, which would have gotten me to pretty well down the fairway, almost to the green. So I get my aiming. I didn't want to hit in the water, so I get out of the bunker. I am around the green, so I've got a pretty decent shot here to set myself up for a par, or even make this one to give myself a birdie. And I'm just trying to aim out that distance, because that's been one of my biggest struggles all day, is with the distance. So I'm not hitting greens like I should. But I get a pretty good solid whack on that one. And it does stop within about 10-15 feet for the par putt. Yeah, it's only 8 feet away, so I do stop it within about 10 feet for the par. I've got it lined up. And just finishing up my minor little adjustments. And I draw the putter back and I give it a whack. And this time I put too much on it. I guess I encountered for pulling the putt and I just didn't. So this is going to give me a bogey, which will drop me back to 12 over for the tournament with 1 hole remaining. And Sergio Mendoza still at 14 under. And that's just the way this tournament's going to work out. Like I said, not every tournament that we play is going to be fabulous. I'm really showing y'all this just to show you this happens. This happens in these games. All right, I'm not going to try to hide anything from y'all. So here comes our tee shot on the 18th. Working out for the elevation, lack of wind. We give it a whack with our 5-wood. And we are going to land on the green. And look at it, it's going to roll almost track right at the pin, but just not have enough roll, and so it will stop at about 9 feet, 10 feet from the pin. leaving us with a decently easy par or birdie putt. And I think got it lined up. And I stroke it, and we push this. Can't make it, just lips out once again. Another failed conversion attempt. That was the theme for the day. Failed conversions, but we do get the par. Finish our round at 2 over for this round, 12 over for the tournament. And you can see we completely failed to make this cut for the day. Looking just disheveled on the 18th green. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. Gonna have to go back to the driving range. But that's just the way it works. Sometimes it happens out like that. And so we will try to do better in the next round and do better overall with our performance.
And that was a tough tournament for us. So we did fail to make the cut quite horrifically, way far off. Um, but however, in the point standings, it didn't hurt us too bad. We dropped down to essentially what amounts to like a tie for sixth. So we still got to play decent. I don't think I can miss another cut and still qualify for the PGA. I need to have a good performance, if not win this tournament. Um, that is the last one, as you can see on the schedule. So that's going to be a little bit tough after our last round. Um, but hopefully we'll be able to make it and do better, and I'll see what we can do about getting Bubba Champion to the PGA. So until that episode, I will check y'all later. And remember to subscribe. And if you liked today's video, you liked watching me struggle, hit that thumbs up button because I'm sure we will have more in the future of that. And until then, I will see y'all later. So, as always, stay safe and later, y'all.